So you give yourself a peek under the sheet, and it's different from the other statues that you've seen. This one kind of looks like someone from the Special Olympics was turned into a statue. Now, that by itself is kind of odd. Like, why would somebody go to the trouble of carving a statue in that specific pose? But there's something about the statue that's familiar. If you go back a couple rooms and you look at one of the portraits hanging up, it appears to be a statue of one of the family members in the portrait. But why would you carve a statue of a family member in a ridiculous pose? So that's what you find.
I take a picture of it, and I take a picture of the painting, and then I send it to Eric, and I put up under it WTF question mark.
WTF, mate.
Okay, Eric, you get that picture, and yeah, that's weird. You guys make it downstairs, and they start showing you this wide variety of incredibly expensive-looking and very excellently carved statues. And I'm going to make some hunting rolls for you guys. So everybody except Megan.
You're just having no luck there whatsoever.
Her hunting score is terrible. You notice downstairs a couple of things. Based on the photograph, pretty damn sure you see a statue of a naked Mitchell. But he's posed with all of the other statues. He looks happy, purposeful, perhaps even a little bit excited by something. We're going semi here, like a semi-chub. Tastefully carved, obviously, anatomically correct. On a lot of the statues, you see things that could be consistent with homeless people. You see scars, marks, even track marks that have been carved into some of these statues.
I'm surprised they even show those ones off.
You point to any one of these statues and they've got a story behind the artistic intention behind the carving.
Morbid curiosity for Gerald. Like, how much artistry do they really put into this? Like, obviously these are people, but like, how much do they really embellish the story?
They're giving you 6 figures worth of embellishment because that's how much these statues cost. They give you a backstory, the conflict of human nature depicted by every little thing. They make references to astrology, the explanations. It's some of the more pretentious fart sniffing you have encountered.
I gotta say, I've never seen one like this before. I can definitely. So I asked the price. How many of these can you move in a year?
It's not a high volume trade. We will commission no more than usually 5 or 6 statues per year.
Well, that's all you'd need to, huh?
We're very careful about making sure that the right statue goes home with the right buyer. It's not uncommon for us to hang on to several pieces for years at a time before they find the right home.
Yeah, even let my daughter look around here and see if she finds one that appeals to her husband-to-be. That's why, of course, they all have to be naked because their clothes don't turn to stone. So.
Right.
Just a bunch of naked homeless people turned to statues. That's fucked up. So basically what I'm going to do is I want us to kind of split up.
You hear that, Megan? That's your chance.
She doesn't even know anything's going on for the most part.
Look at the flower with that one.
Oh, that's not exactly play now, is it, huh?
Hey, I want that one.
That's not what the statues are for. Well, whichever one strikes your fancy. I mean, I'm thinking about this one over here, just for myself.
I text Eric and I just ask him, got any question mark?
Gorgon! Exclamation point.
And then I do a Wikipedia search for Gorgon.
Joe, I'm going to make a tech use roll for you.
To look up Gorgon.
Tech use. 18. Here's what you're able to turn up online. The Gorgon lore, the first thing that comes up is Medusa. Medusa was a specific Gorgon. There were 3 that were named in Greek mythology. Medusa had 2 sisters. I forget the name of the one who is not part of this story, because I didn't write that down, but Satheno is the other one. They have a head that has snakes on it instead of hair. Some people say that her hair was turned to snakes because a husband of a goddess was caught looking at this very beautiful woman. And so out of jealousy, the goddess turned her hair into snakes. They can turn people to stone with a look. They're immortal. And the only story of one being killed was Medusa, and her head was cut off. That's what you're able to turn up.
I make my way back to the car. Yeah, I take a cutout excerpt from Wikipedia or whatever. And I send it to Eric. And and I say, call if you need help. Yeah, and I ask a question, who's this artist? Who's making the statues? I put that as a question to him.
Who is the resident artist?
Protocol says we've done our spotting. We know what we're up against, but we don't know necessarily how to kill it. So my next step in the Gerald Conway book of hunting is go back home and call your friends. Yeah, I think I like this one. I really do. I mean, I'm gonna have to see. I don't know if I can write some of this off. Maybe if I put it at my office. It's not really an office kind of sculpture though. It's supposed to be personal. I'm gonna have to go through some stuff. You sold on this one, Sally?
I like that one, but I kind of like this one too. Can we get both?
Sweetie, I love you, but well, you know, let's talk about it, all right? You know, we talked about affordable spending. Like, you know, fiance's making a lot of money right now, but I really think that this rap music is a flash in the pan. So
35 years in, I just don't know if it's got legs.
I'll tell you what. When I get back to my hotel, I'll see about sending you guys some sort of down payment. What do you guys usually take for this sort of thing?
I mean, we could recommend someone for finance should need it.
Oh no, I can handle that myself. I don't want to come here and waste your time. I want to make sure we got something that's already good to go. When I walk out, I know I'm on the path to getting what I want.
Oh, for gentlemen like us, I would accept your handshake as a hold on.
I really like this one, but I'm kind of like the emotion here, and I point to Mitchell.
Oh, and there's a visible flash, but they recover. Yes, that's one of our newer pieces, and they really captured something special you don't normally see.
I don't know. I kind of like the passion, the look of it. Just makes me feel younger, you know. He's just getting ready to go there, and the age I'm getting to. I mean, kind of elbow the old man. Not always guarantee, if you know what I mean. So yeah, all right. And we'll have a talk about which one you like, and we'll figure it out. Oh man, my accountant's gonna have a hell time. I don't want an accounting firm. I got an accountant up my ass half the day. And I shake on it.
Yeah, they shake your hand.
Avert your gaze.
Yeah, I'm just staring off at the statues. I'm just so amazed I can't make eye contact. All right, well, I know time is money, and I know you weren't expecting to be hosting us. Thank you very much, and I'm drinking the wine now. Oh, this is excellent. This is excellent. Oh, we'll be getting out of your hair. I'll have my people get a hold of your people, and we might have to arrange a second visit so she can pick out, and you guys maybe walk her through the process a little bit more.
Yes, this is something that should be done properly.
Can't rush these sorts of things. Plus, it's gonna take forever to figure out the moving arrangements for something this size.
Oh, we have quite a team of experienced men.
I'll leave that to the professionals.
Oh, very good.
To your top men.
Top men.
You guys are led to the top of the stairs where a very diligent butler is waiting. Oh, the masters is fit with you.
Oh yeah, I'd say we are. Here you go.
He
Give him $100.
Oh, if you have anything else you need, did you let the wine breathe properly for?
The whole 15 minutes.
You have done yourself a great favor doing so.
Well done. I didn't get your name.
They mostly call Butler, but if one is so inclined to know mine, you can call it Jeff.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you, Jeff. It's always good to meet a man who knows what he's doing and takes pride in his work.
A life that is led to completion.
God. Stop now.
Is one that is full of taking pride in the smallest of things. And that is where I get fulfilled from my mind.
I'm going to the car. I'll meet you guys there.
Would you like me to show you to the door?
I got it.
You know what? You know what? You just rest your legs there. We know our way out. It's time to skedaddle.
It has been a pleasure and a privilege, and I will see you again someday should you come back for the purchase of your statue. Good day.
I love that character, but I can't stand him. He feels like a molasses on a slow day, Alfred Pennyworth.
Molasses.
Molasses, yeah.
Molasses. Looks like a molasses.
That's the name of Antithesis Freeman's newest album.
Molasses on a slow day. Drop it. Early point 17. Cop that.
Molasses for that asses.
Molasses. Listen, early 2017. Stop that.
Joe and Megan sat together in the small, cheap motel room. Gerald and Eric had given them very specific instruction to be ready when they found the Gorgon. Machetes needed to be sharpened, equipment double and triple checked. They still hadn't told them the plan so that they wouldn't get turned into stone when they attacked, but they really seemed to know what they were doing. Joe couldn't take his eyes away from all the many tattoos he could see on Megan's arms and shoulders. Now that she wasn't wearing her street clothing, she looked like a spring that was wound up too tight. Full of energy and drive, it was unusual for him to see such a focused and strong woman. The tank top didn't hurt either. She filled it out fairly well. It seemed oblivious to Joe's involuntary glances every time she had to lean over to get something. Beautiful, totally batshit crazy. Joe's mind flashed to his ex. Yeah, hot and crazy. I guess that's just my type, he thought, as he put his mind back to where it needed to be. The silence was finally too thick for Joe to bear. You ever fight one of these before? No, but I'm not too worried. I'm sure once we know how, I can kill it. She pulled up her pant leg a few inches and pointed to a spot on her calf. And I'll put it right here so I never forget. Joe nodded, not knowing what to say. Megan couldn't help but notice Joe's eyes on her when he thought she wasn't looking. She didn't want to embarrass him by giving him the sarcastic remarks that she saved for everyone else. Besides, when other people looked at her, they usually didn't have a ridiculously chiseled physique and a semi-automatic high-caliber cannon resting across their lap. Six-pack? Or did Joe have the full 8, along with the small details that would only show up after months and years of meticulous training? Either way, she was curious, to say the least. Curious just how dangerous he was. Plus, there was something dark and brooding there behind his eyes, and the fake smile that he put up, but could never quite make it genuine. There was a knock at the door. Both Megan and Joe shared a concerned look since they weren't expecting anyone to be here so soon. Megan signaled Joe to take up a position at the side of the front door. A pump-action shotgun at close range would make a lot of problems go away in a hurry. Megan looked out at the keyhole and saw a pimple-faced teenager in a ridiculous uniform holding a couple of pizza boxes as he waited impatiently for her to open the door. She held up her hand and leaned close to open the door just a crack. The young man looked at her. I have an order from a Mr. Conway. Is this the right unit? Megan opened the door with a little bit more. Oh yeah, of course. I don't have any cash on me. Should I get my card? She asked. A little hungry, but also trying to seem like a normal person who didn't have all kinds of guns and explosives just behind the door. No need for that, he said. The order was placed online and taken care of already. Megan felt her blood turn cold. Who are you? She said as she began reaching her hand behind her back to get the pistol she always kept there. Who does it look like I am? I'm just here to do my job. Now can you take these from me so I can go? Her hands found the pistol and she quickly drew it and pointed it at the driver's face. I said, who are you? Gerald doesn't even know how to turn on a computer, much less order something online. So who the hell are you? The delivery man's expression quickly changed from annoyance to satisfaction. He blinked once, revealing a set of jet black eyes. He dropped the pizza in the bushes by the door. I didn't really want to do this the easy way anyway, he said, as he took some aggressive steps forward. Without a second thought, Megan put 3 shots dead center in his chest. He stopped, looked down, and smiled. Impressive grouping. And with a wave of his hand, Megan flew across the room and slammed hard into the wall. Joe could hear Megan's head smack into it. You came into the wrong house, Joe said as he cocked the shotgun and blasted at least half the face off of the one next to Megan. Ignoring the pain in his shoulder from the kick of the shotgun, he ran over to check on her. She was a little doozy and wobbly, but starting to get up. She was muttering to herself and checking the tattoos on her arm. Demons, demons, it's demons, got it. Across her inner forearm on the left was a block of strange text. She got up and started staring down, reading, looking at the demon who was trying to get up. Examos te omnes immundus spiritus, omnes satanica protestas. As she was chanting, 2 other black-eyed men strode in the motel room and grabbed Megan by the wrist, clamping his hand around her arm. None of that, and he punched her square in the face, splitting her lip open. She dropped back, pretending to be much more dazed than she really was, and with lightning speed rammed her elbow square into the man's nose. His head blew back to the side, but he only smiled as he revealed a bloody grin and spat out some teeth. Joe took another shot that hit dead center, but it didn't seem to be doing anything. The second demon who came in didn't even break a sweat as he ran over and chokeslammed Joe straight through the wall into the vacant unit next to their room, knocking him out cold. The other 2 had a firm grip on Megan as he pinned her arms behind her back. Megan struggled for all she was worth, but was horribly outmuscled and not ready for the demons. Her struggling and failing was brought to an abrupt end when one of them struck her right into the back of the head, sending her almost unconscious, but not out of it enough to at least get out some vulgar words before everything went fuzzy. We have what we came for. Make sure they get the message. The other one nodded as he pulled out a wickedly looking hunting knife and pressed the point of it blade into Megan's cheek, stretching the skin without cutting it. He put his face real close to her. You and I are gonna have some real fun later on, as soon as we finish up with those 2 hunter friends you're with. He moved his hand in a highly inappropriate manner along her stomach and chest before tracing it all the way to her forehead forearm. Till then, we'll just have to stick to foreplay. He stretched out the skin that had the exorcism words tattooed on it and brutally began to saw her skin off with his knife. Megan let out a piercing scream as the pain brought her back awake. The demon grinned as he put away a good 4 square inches of Megan's flesh and held up its thumb and forefingers, dangling it in front of Megan's eyes. This should send the right message, don't you think? Megan's nostrils flared with the smell of burning flesh. Longitude and latitude, and a short message. You have something of ours. Now we have something of yours. Don't be long if you ever want to get it back. Come along now, darling. Megan's strength was fading again as blood ran down her wrist and dripped off her fingers. She was too weak to fight. It was becoming hard to even stay conscious, and one of the 3 demons dragged the nearly limp Megan out of the room and into a nearby waiting van, driving away with a skid from their tires. Several minutes later, Joe was awoken by the sounds of distant sirens in the distance. He quickly got up, dusted the plaster and drywall off of himself, and went back through the hole in the wall into his own hotel room. It was a mess, and he needed to get out quick. There was blood everywhere. He grabbed the bags of his and Megan's weapons and was ready to leave before finding the bloody flap of skin with the grisly message burned into it. He had to find Eric and Gerald.
She's gonna be so pissed that her character's a damsel in distress.
She put up a good fight, better than Joe. Joe got chokeslammed.
8-pack wasn't helping you.
Joe, we're gonna start with you.
I throw the crap into the passenger seat of my car and I take off towards the last location where the hunters were. Well, as soon as I'm mashing on the gas, I give kind of way a call.
Your phone rings, Gerald.
Hello?
Look, I don't. 3 guys just came into the hotel room. They have Megan. I was thrown through a fucking wall, man. They were strong. Their eyes were black, and I shot them like 4 or 5 fucking times. 4 or 5.
Where you at?
Face gone. Face is gone, man.
Yeah,
Where the hell are you?
Are we still at that motel?
Pretty much you dropped off Megan and Joe at the hotel, and you were trying to keep them out of your way because they were way too new to handle this.
Yeah, Gorgon's a bit much. I tell him wherever I'm at, and he can come straight to me.
Yeah, that happens. He gives you a set of directions, and so you meet up. Joe and Gerald and Eric, you are together, I guess, somewhere en route to a public library to do some actual lore hunting.
Well, I narrowly averted hitting a few children, I guess, trying to return their overdue books, and I come to a screeching halt.
Okay. I'd be waiting outside for him.
What? And I pull up to him.
Just make sure he parks his car legally.
She's gone.
All right, calm down. Calm down.
Just
Deep breath. Get in the car, I guess.
don't sit on it.
Oh, I look down. Oh.
Flesh.
Whose flesh?
You can see a tattoo on it that looks familiar.
Oh. I pick it up.
What are we getting into here? This isn't a Gorgon. This isn't a werewolf.
No, it's a demon. It's a group of demons, actually. We have one of their guys. Yeah, we have something
You
of
didn't kill it
yours. No, we're holding on to it for information and torturing it for being part of a group that attacked Eric's mother and bit off all the fingers on one of her hands. Oh, and their group stole my sword. Now they've stolen something slightly more important.
What's the play here? What do we do?
Players, you turn off the car, you come inside, keep your voice down, don't freak anybody out, and we talk to Eric and we figure out a game plan. First we gotta deal with this Gorgon, I think. I don't know, let's talk to Eric.
Save Megan. We gotta help Megan. The Gorgon can wait.
Okay, you're probably right on that. I don't like her much, but you're probably right on that. First step is to go inside, we inform Eric. And then we figure out what we do from there.
Right.
Here, my hand in my flask, have a drink.
Giant swig.
Not that much, that's mid-shelf stuff right there. Come on. Let's go back inside and find Eric. He's probably out in a corner, so he can have his back to a wall.
And I follow behind him.
Got a book for it. Great. How big is this scrap of flesh?
4 square inches.
It's easy to conceal. Ugh. Bring that over, and I just sort of set it down in front of Eric. No words.
You just drop a piece of flesh in front of me?
It's got writing on it. But yeah.
Well, then that is my in-character response.
Oh.
You're just going to drop a piece of flesh in front of me.
It's Megan's.
And these guys, these
Demons
with black eyes. Man, I shot half its face off. It was half his face gone. And then he kept coming, man. Another one. Straight in.
You're in a library.
I get it.
Straight
you saw
shot
a demon
to the chest.
Right. I get it.
He just shot the meat suit, which that poor person's dead now.
Yeah, well.
I didn't mean. I meant to kill him, but I didn't mean to.
We get it.
Is there a coffee
Get it.
shop in here?
It is.
I'm gonna go find a coffee shop. I'll be back.
Bring me a large coffee black.
Coffee black.
I'm freaking out on the inside.
It's the GPS coordinates put this place somewhere in Washington State.
All the way across the continent.
They're still en route.
So I know that look in your eye, and it says you want to drop everything and go save that girl. But before we follow your heart, if we leave now, the likelihood of us finding this Gorgon again is remote.
Plus, we don't even, other than those coordinates, we don't really have, which is likely a trap. We don't have any real leads on this group of demons we've pissed off.
Like, I mean, trust me, I want to get them back as badly as you do. Not so much about the Megan as about myself.
I understand. And the math is sound. The worst they can do is kill Megan. The worst the Gorgon can do is kill multiple people.
Every year. You can only kill the Megan once. Well, Megan's already turned that batshit corner. There's no real walking that back, especially with the tattoo, which is retarded, right? Like, I just can't really fathom that. Like, mole skin, anything. Posted, like, I don't, is she fucking Dory? Like, shit is life and death. It's hard to forget.
Joe comes on back. And look, all he had was a damn vending machine up in the damn employee lounge. And he just gives you a shaky cup of coffee.
The cup of coffee is shaking.
I don't know if I want that coffee.
It's like the most nervous cup of coffee you've ever seen.
I don't think I need vibrating bowels. That's not. I take a sip and then I pour some of my flask into the coffee to settle its nerves.
Take the top off my cup and I pass it to you.
Oh, and I have a huge networking score. I want to put somebody on it out there. I know I'm sending somebody else to their death probably, but
So yeah, you're able to put out a few phone calls and get a couple guys to trust
Let's split up, gang.
to yeah, let's split up. That's how characters die. Yeah, this isn't Scooby-Doo.
So what did we come up with? I didn't catch your license plate, but I mean, there's a map, right? These are coordinates. I'm ready to go.
Joe, I've put some people on it. It's going to take us days to get out there. We have a whole network of contacts and workers. It's somewhere out in the state of Washington.
Okay. Oh,
That's all the way across the country.
Just pile up.
If they want her dead, she's dead. If they want to use her as bait, she's alive.
And if they want to use her to trade for the demon we've gotten locked down, killing her takes away their only bargaining chip.
And we're already really pissed off. I mean, they stole a lot of our stuff.
And named your mother.
Sorry
I mean, I like that's how you went where you went first.
Stole our shit and maimed your mother.
Yeah, take your stuff, but what they did to your mom, that's
my mom's tough. Last week when I was in a Xanax hangover, I went out and visited her, and she's doing okay.
We're not going to go after.
Not immediately. Right now, we've got a strong lead. We have a very dangerous creature out there we have to handle.
Oh, what if I was in that van? That's it? I know a guy in Phoenix, maybe he'll get out there at some point. That little girl, I mean, she's a kid, man. She's a child who lost her parents.
You're all fucking kid.
Also, Joe, if you want to try to lean on our morality, we know this Gorgon is killing. We know this Gorgon will continue to kill.
It's not going anywhere. Whoever's keeping it, or if it's deciding to stay there, that's home base.
It's also a really bad idea when you're working this job to go half in on something and leave it open. That's how you end up with enemies like the ones we have.
Just tell me this, who are you putting on? Don't tell me that it's someone in this network. Is it somebody that you know and that you trust? At least tell me that much. Someone who's competent. And maybe then this will sit right with me for a day or so before we go after.
He wants us to lie to him about the quality of the man you put in the job.
Yeah, I mean, like, is this someone you know?
They have a little competency, or they wouldn't still be here.
So how do we kill this damn Gorgon thing? Let's just get this out of the way. Did you place the call yet? I mean, I've only been away 5 minutes. You didn't place the call? Did you call your network? I mean, I didn't see you. I didn't see you on the phone or anything.
Listen, Joe. While you were shaking that coffee to death like a baby, you made the call.
I made like 3 calls. I might not be able to use a computer, but I can use a touch-tone phone like you wouldn't believe.
All right. I'm sorry. I was just thrown through a wall. I'm a little...
First things first, the first place you start, the first place you always start, no matter how silly it seems, is Gaggle. You'd be surprised how much information you find with a simple Gaggle search. You start doing your deep dives. I have several scripts written to just dig into the minutia of the web, searching for very obscure keywords, things that you would never really find outside of like a specialty forum or some shit like that. You have to go deep into dark web, seeing many of things I can't unsee, but the amount of information you can get even from unscrupulous sources can be invaluable.
Oh, and also you can buy math on Craigslist. But the reason we're in a library, for one, is follow me. And I lead them over to a section on occultism.
There you go. I like where this is going.
And what's that?
I said, there you go. I like where this is going. Keep going.
Okay. And I pull out. I pull out. I just pull it out.
Keep feeding them. Come on. Feed them that shit.
4 or 5 books that they have, and I lay them down. 90% of the stuff in these books is probably garbage, but a lot of the stuff we fight is all myth and legend. I use my phone more than I use the library, talk to people who I've met who actually know what they're talking about. Most legends have a basis in truth, and those factual things like how a monster was killed, if it's repeated enough in the stories, it's probably true, or it's likely to be true, because that's one of those important parts of the myth.
First thing I did when I got to the hotel room, I did a gaggle search on this Gorgon, and first thing it said is that she's immortal.
A lot of things are immortal until you kill them.
I'm pretty sure it can be killed. If you can take out a god, you can take out Gorgon. Just gotta figure out how. Right now I'm leaning towards head removal and possibly mirrored dinner plate.
I'm going to start with Eric. You're able to find some bits and pieces of information on a Gorgon that you think are relevant. Eric, number 1, you can confirm that everything that all the lore has in common is it's looking like beheading. Beheading is the way to go. One of the other things that you find out that seems to be pretty is that it's only a direct attack with the gaze that will turn someone to stone. So,
So now,
yeah. So now we're gonna make a joke about the gaze as the GAYS.
we are mature.
A direct attack from the gaze. From the GAZE is what is lethal. You can find different independent examples of somebody looking at a reflection and being able to function against a Gorgon. That's what you're able to find, Eric. Gerald, here's what you're able to find. He's just pulling out random books and flipping through them, and then he's taken over an entire library table where he just sets a book down and leaves it open to a page. And then he goes and grabs another book and sets it down. Same thing. And you watch him do this for a good 45 minutes. You can tell he's done it before because he just seems so familiar with the books. It's like he's even seen a lot of these specific books before, and he knows which ones are the good books, and they're in a lot of the libraries. So by the time he's got about 7 or 8 books down, it doesn't really look to you like he has anything. You see one on the Gorgon, which is like the standard Greek tale of the Medusa getting its head cut off, and then later on that head was used to turn the enemies of the hero into stone. That's really the only reference. You almost think he's got that just as a starting point. Like, that's his gaggle cert. Gerald's just like, okay, this is what the lore says in terms of the common man. And then he's pulling out like these weird books that have like obscure references to things that you've never heard of, things that are part English and part Greek. There's some Latin mixed in there too, and he's got them all laid out. And then you even see some books on like ancient gods that have nothing to do with the Gorgon. Eventually, he seems to be satisfied and he closes the books and puts them away. So Gerald, here's what you find. You find everything that Eric found, number 1. You're thinking to yourself, man, this thing can just look at you and turn you to stone, and if you can't see it, how can you fight it? How can you make it get beheaded if you don't have the ability to get close to it? So you're thinking about a way around that, and something hits you. You hit the Greek pantheon, and you find some references